We'll get started in Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly the knees open and soles of the feet together. I recommend if you have a blanket or blocks, placing one under either knee. And just find a comfortable position for the arms. Maybe one hand on the heart, other hand on the belly. Just take a couple rounds of breath here. Noticing the inhales as you fill up the lungs, and then gentle open mouth exhales, letting the air go. Take a few more rounds on your own. Start to shift your attention away from the outside world and beginning to tune in. Notice how you're feeling physically, mentally, energetically. When you're ready, take the hands and close the knees, hugging them in towards the chest. And just gently begin to rock side to side, massaging the lower back and spine, letting go of any tension that you're holding there. If it feels good, drawing circles with the knees. And if you go in one direction, switching it out. Releasing the feet to the ground, supine figure 4, right ankle to the left thigh. Pressing the knee forward. And just finding a stretch in the outer right hip and glute. See how this feels. Now if you want to deepen, thread the needle. Lifting the left thigh, interlace hands behind it. And just finding that steady, even breath in and breath out. Just sending the breath towards the sensation, allowing yourself to soften on your exhales. Take about 2 more rounds of breath. And then gently release. We'll switch it out. Left ankle to right thigh, pressing the knee forward. And see if you can find the same variation that you took on the other side. And just noticing, maybe one side feels more open, one side feels tighter. Noticing without judgment. Really finding that edge, that place of sensation, where it's not too much, it's not too little. Take about 2 more full deep rounds of breath. And then gently releasing the feet back to the ground. We'll come into Benanasana, extending the legs straight out and reaching the arms overhead. This is a side body stretch. We'll start to walk the legs over towards the right. And then taking the upper body and walk it over towards the right as well. You can stay here, or to deepen, taking the left ankle over the right. So we'll be finding a stretch on the left side body. From the top of the rib cage, into the intercostal muscles, and down the outside of the left leg, getting into the IT band. Once again, find that edge and just hanging out there, breathing into it. Breathing into the left lung, finding that expansive breath. Take a couple more full, deep rounds of breath here. And then coming back to center, hugging the knees and give them a little squeeze, rock it out side to side. When you're ready, making your way into the second side, extending the legs out, reaching the arms overhead. This time walking the legs over towards the left, walking the upper body over towards the left as well. This time you'll be focusing on the right side body. If you want to deepen, crossing the right ankle over the left. Just feeling the rise and fall of the belly breath. Really tuning in to where you're feeling sensation. Breathing into any resistance in the body or in the mind. On every exhale, creating a little bit more length, more space in the body. Take a couple more full, deep rounds of breath. Bringing it back in through center, hug the knees and give them a little squeeze. We'll be coming into bridge pose next. So when you're ready, feet to the ground, hip width distance. Walk the heels in towards the glutes. Pressing into the feet, lift the hips up towards the sky. Then taking the arms, reaching them overhead. Squeezing the glutes, activating the thighs, the core. Keep pressing the earth away. Keeping the arms overhead, we'll slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time, tailbone last to touch. Take a breath here. And then releasing the arms back down by the sides. We'll come back into bridge. Press into the feet. And then lifting the hips up towards the sky again. Option to shimmy the shoulders underneath and releasing hands behind the low back. Starting to really warm up the thighs, the glutes, and the core. Making sure the hips don't dip down. Releasing the hands, slowly lower all the way down. We'll be coming into a marching bridge next. We'll lift the hips back up towards the sky, and then we'll shift the weight into the left foot. Drawing the right knee up, keep that 90-degree angle, and then release it down. Weight in the right foot, draw the left knee up, and then lower. Keep going, making sure that the hips stay even. Just finding a steady pace. That 90-degree angle on the knee, making sure that the hips don't dip down. Almost there, keep going. We'll finish up your last round. Release the foot. And then lower all the way back down. We'll find happy baby. Draw the knees outside of the ribs. Reach behind the thighs or the calves and just rock it out side to side. Let it go. Release the feet back down towards the ground. We'll work on some core. Arms down by the sides, float the shoulders off the ground. Reaching the right fingertips towards the right heel. Come back to center. Reach the left fingertips towards the left heel and center. Keep going side to side. Keeping the belly pulled in tight. The low back connected to the ground. You're working on your side abdominals, your obliques. To challenge yourself, walk the heels a little further away from the body. Keep going and keep the breath moving. Moving with control. Really nice. We're almost there, just a couple more. Finishing up your last rounds. One more. And we'll release. Lower down. Happy baby. Let it go. Coming back to that steady, even breath. We'll be working on one more core exercise, tabletop legs. Drop the right heel towards the ground. Keep the 90-degree angle in the leg. And then lift it back up. Switch it out. Left heel drops down. Draw it back up. Keep going at your pace. Remember, it's not about speed. Keep the belly pulled in tight. And only lower as far down as you can keep the core engaged. So that might mean that the heels don't touch the ground. Keep the breath moving. Really strong, you've got it. Finding that steady pace. We're almost there. Just a couple more. Make sure the low back isn't lifting off the ground. Last round. And release. Draw the knees in. Once again, rock it out side to side. Just finding a release. Full body stretch. Extend the arms, extend the legs. Nice big breath in and big breath out. Take your time rolling over to your favorite side, and you can pause there. Knees bent, head resting in the arms. Just taking a moment, feeling the support of the ground. When you're ready, pressing into the hands to lift yourself back up. We'll be finding our way into tabletop position. You can always place a blanket underneath the knees for more padding. Shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. We'll move through cat-cow. Drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. On the exhale, cat, press the earth away, round the spine. On the inhales, cow pose, the belly drops, soft bend in the elbows. And on the exhales, cat, arching the spine, gazing towards the belly. Continue with this flow, connecting breath and movement, articulating through the spine. Maybe you close the eyes, turning your practice inward. If it feels good, start to bring some organic movement. That might look like figure eights in the body. It may look like moving the hips side to side. But really tuning in to how you're feeling and what you need in your practice today. Sometimes that means slowing down. Maybe it means pushing towards that edge. We'll return back into a neutral tabletop for balancing tabletop. Start to extend the right toes back. Keep the hips square and the left fingertips forward. Now reach the left arm out towards the side and then back into center. For challenge, float the right toes off the ground. And then drawing the arm out to the side and back in. One more time. Draw it out. Option, extend the right leg out towards the side. Hold here. Bring it back in. Release the left hand. Release the right knee. Gaze over the right shoulder towards the right hip. Come back to center and gaze over the left shoulder. Come back into neutral tabletop. Extend the left toes back and the right fingertips forward. Reach the right hand out and then bring it back in. Maybe float the left toes. Draw the right arm out, shoulder height. Bring it back in. One more time, extend the arm out. An option, extend the left leg out towards the side. Find your balance. Core is tight. Bring it back to center. Release the hand, release the knee. We'll come into child's pose. Knees wide, toes touch. Hips reach back. Allowing the hips to be heavy. Sinking towards the heels on every exhale. Breathing fully, breathing deeply, and just coming back to that place where you feel centered and grounded. We'll be coming into downward facing dog. Option to skip it if it's not in your practice. Shift forward to tabletop. Tuck the toes and lift the hips up and back. Take a couple moments, bending one knee and then the other, spreading the fingers wide, pressing into all 10 finger pads, and just waking up the back of the legs. Come into stillness. We'll make our way up to standing however it feels best for you. You can bend the knees and start to walk the hands and feet in. Taking your time, rolling all the way up to standing. Head and neck is last to rise. At the top, couple shoulder rolls up and down the back. You can switch out the direction, moving the shoulders from the back to the front. Release the shoulders and soften them down the back, bringing the hands into heart center. Close the eyes or soften the gaze. Feel the feet rooted. Crown of the head reaches tall. Take a breath in. And an open mouth exhale, let it go. Blinking the eyes open, arms release down. On an inhale, reaching the arms overhead, breathe here. Palms face in, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Lift up through the side waist. Side body stretch, take a hold of the left wrist up and over towards the right. Pressing into the left foot, lengthen through the left side. Coming back to center. Take a hold of the right wrist up and over towards the left. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. We'll come back into center, gentle back bend, cactus the arms, elbows in line with shoulders. Open across the collarbone. Reaching up and back. Bringing the hands into heart center, pause here. Breath in and breath out. Releasing the arms down by the sides. We'll move through. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Inhale, returning back into center. And on your exhale, over to the left. Inhale, back to center. On your exhale, gentle back bend, cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, reach back up. On the exhale, hands come into heart center. Breath in and breath out. One last time, releasing the arms down by the sides. Inhale, expand up. And exhale, side body stretch to the right. Inhale, coming back in through center. And exhale over towards the left. Inhale, come back into center. And exhale, deepest back bend yet, shine the heart forward. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. On the exhale, hands come into heart center. Full deep breath in and deep breath out. One more full breath here. Releasing the arms down by the sides and take a quarter turn to the right for warrior two. Widen your stance. Turn the left toes to point forward. The right toes point towards the sides. And just a couple times, bend and straighten into the knee, just waking up the hips. Finding stillness, arms out at shoulder height. Energy reaching through the fingertips. Start to straighten through the front leg and reaching the arms overhead. And then bending back into the knee, arms come back down. Couple times, straighten and reach. And on the exhale, bend into the knee. Do one more round. And then come back into stillness, hold here. Knee stacking over the ankle. Straighten the front leg. Hands to the hips. We'll move into triangle. You can shorten the stance. Reaching the left fingertips forward. And then tick-tock the arms. Or keep the right hand at the hip. Finding length along the left side waist. Staying open across the chest. To add on, reaching the right fingertips towards the front wall. We'll come into star pose, rising back up. Parallel the toes, and then heels in, toes out. Reach the arms overhead. On the exhale, bend into the knees, hands into heart center. Inhale, expanding back up. And on the exhale, sitting low. Shoulders stay over the hips. One more round. Inhale, reach. And exhale, horse. Hands stay at heart center. Straighten the legs. Turn the toes in and parallel the feet. Hands to the hips. We'll lower halfway down. Soft bend in the knees, keeping a flat back. Feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Take a breath here. And then rising back up. We'll come into the second side. Turn the right toes to point towards the back wall. Warrior two. Bend and straighten into the right knee a couple times. Keeping the knee tracking in line with the second toe. Finding stillness. Reach the arms out, shoulder height. Shoulders stay over the hips. Start to straighten through the front leg, arms reach overhead. And on the exhale, bend into the knee, press the arms down. Couple more times, inhales, reach as if you're moving through honey, pressing the arms back down. One more round. Hold here. Find your point of focus, your drishti. Triangle pose, straighten the front leg, shorten the stance. Left hand stays at the hip, reaching forward, and then releasing the hand to the shin or to the thigh. Option, the left fingertips reach up towards the sky. Keep it open across the chest, the right side waist long. Option to reach the left fingertips towards the front. And then rising back up. Turn the toes in, parallel the feet. We'll come into Prasarita. Lower either halfway down, or if it feels okay in your body, release the hands to the ground. Maybe reaching for a block, or reaching the hands towards the ankle. Keeping the weight forward, soft bend in the knees, breathing into the back of the legs, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Taking another round of breath. And then rising back up, hands to the hips. Bringing the feet back together. And then facing forward, arms down by the sides. Take a moment, feel grounded. Breath in and breath out. We'll make our way back down towards the ground. Coming into a grounded side plank. Start in tabletop. Bringing the left hand to the center of the mat and then extending the right leg back. You can parallel the left shin to the front of the mat for more stability. Right hand to the hip, or reaching the right fingertips towards the sky. A couple times circling the arm, reaching it forward, down, and back. Bringing some movement into the shoulder space. Keeping energy reaching through the fingertips. Pause at the top. Option, float the right leg up to hip height. Flexing through the foot, energy through the heel. Release it down. Right hand returns to the ground. Come back into tabletop position. And then lowering all the way down to the belly, we'll come into baby cobra. Hands stay underneath the shoulders. Zip the legs together. And on an inhale, lift the head, chest, and shoulders off the ground. Keep the back of the neck long, strengthening the back body, little weight in the hands. Breathing here. And then lower back down. Press into the hands, and then press back up. We'll come into child's pose. Send the hips back towards the heels. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Come back to that place where you feel centered and grounded. We'll set ourselves up for the second side, returning back into a neutral tabletop position. This time the right hand comes to the center of the mat, left leg extends back. Option, parallel the right shin to the top of the mat. Left hand to the hip, or reach the fingertips towards the sky. Couple times, moving the arm forward, down, and back. Bringing some movement into the left shoulder. Keeping the left side body stacked over the right. And then pausing at the top. Option, float the left foot. Flexing through the foot, squeezing the left glute. And then release. Slowly come back to center. Once again, we're going to lower all the way down to the belly. This time we'll come into Sphinx pose. You'll bring the forearms to the ground, elbows underneath the shoulders. Create the shape of a number 11. The legs are hip width distance. And just bringing the gaze forward, close the eyes or soften the gaze. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Keep reaching your heart forward and just finding that steady breath in and breath out. And then lowering back down, taking your time, pressing into the hands. You can press up to tabletop. And we're going to make our way into a seated position. Taking your time, we're going to lower all the way back down onto our back, starting to slow our practice back down. Drilling the knees in towards the chest, giving them a little squeeze. We'll set up for an easy twist. You'll find tabletop legs, knees over hips, extend the arms out shoulder height. Start by dropping the knees over to the left and scooting the hips towards the right. You can always take a blanket or a block, placing it in between the knees or underneath them. Keep the shoulders heavy, either gazing up or maybe allowing the chin to fall towards the right, completing the twist into the cervical spine. Releasing in the lower back and just gently wringing out the body, rejuvenating the spine, returning to that easy, natural breath. Taking your time, coming back in through center, we'll switch it out. Dropping the knees over towards the right, scoot the hips towards the left to deepen. Either gazing up or allowing the chin to fall towards the left. Just finding what feels best for you and your body right now. Just imagine wringing out any lingering tension, stress from your day, from your body. Coming back in through center, we'll find happy baby. Grabbing behind the thighs, calves, or outside edges of the feet. Keep the low back connected to the ground and just gently rock side to side. Maybe extending one leg out and then the other. And then come back to center, drawing the knees in, give them a final squeeze, thank them for everything that they do, and then releasing into final Shavasana. Finding a position that feels comfortable to you and just taking up space. Allow yourself to feel heavy and grounded, relaxing fully and completely. Relax the forehead. Soften the jaw, relax your eyes, releasing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, and any lingering thoughts, ideas, plans, stories, simply arising and floating on by. We'll be here for a little bit longer. I'll guide you out when it's time. Feel free to stay here for longer or start to deepen the breath and bringing movement back into the body. Reaching the arms overhead for a full body stretch. And then taking your time, just gently rolling over to your favorite side. And then gently pressing yourself up, finding a comfortable seat. Sitting tall, eyes closed or soft gaze. Bringing the hands into heart center, we'll take one last collective breath. On the inhale, fill up. And then open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Gently bowing forward to seal our practice. Namaste.